First of all, thank you for the opportunity to present. My name is Tae-Jin Ham. I am the CEO of Biologics. Biologics, as you can see here, we are the global leader in exosome therapeutics. This is a very new area. We are talking about totally new treatment modality, which is not developed or commercialized yet. However, if you look at the number of publications or patents registered with regard to exosome technology, it is skyrocketing like this, meaning that there's a huge focus and attention to the exosomes. So I will explain further in detail what is exosome and why it is so exciting to be in this space. But before I do that, let me give you a very brief overview of our company first. So Biologics is solely focusing on exosome therapeutics. So we are the first company who really revolutionized the way how we can engineer exosome. It can be used in a beautiful way to deliver drugs or biologically active materials into the cells. So the company was founded back in 2015 out of a renowned research-focused university, KAIST, Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. So it's kind of like a Korean version of MIT. We have about 80 employees now, and out of 80, about 60 employees are research scientists, including 20 PhDs. We are probably by far the biggest, or if not, one of the biggest exosome-focused research groups in the whole world. These technologies are very versatile. Theoretically speaking, it can be applied to any kind of biologically active product, meaning that it can be developed into drugs for any kind of disease. However, we are a small biotech, small company, so we cannot do everything. So our current priority in terms of therapeutic area is threefold. First one is inflammatory disease, and oncology and CNS. Now, let me move on to talk a little bit more about exosome. What is it? Why is it so exciting place to be? So first, starting with the problem. If you think of the $1 trillion pharmaceutical market, it is at very high level made of two different classes of drugs. One is a small molecule, the other one is large molecule. But regardless of whether the drug is small or large, any drug, for it to be biologically active, it needs to somehow interact with a certain target of the cell. Target can exist outside of the cell or inside of the cell, so we call it extracellular target or intracellular target. And for small molecule drugs, because their size is small, it can penetrate the cell membrane relatively easily. So small molecule drugs can be developed for both targets, extracellular target and intracellular target. That's great. But when it comes to the large molecule drugs like proteins and antibodies, here's a problem. Because the large molecule, being so big, it cannot just pass through the cell membrane. All the biological products, biological medicines that have been developed so far are targeting only extracellular target, meaning that they are only targeting the targets outside of the cell, leaving so many targets inside the cell untapped, unexplored. And now, exosome can be a great solution to that, because what is exosome? Exosome is, in a simple term, it's like a small bubble, as you can see up there. And all living cells in your body produce exosomes every day. Why? Because they need that to communicate with other cells. So cell needs to communicate with each other, and exosome is the way how cells communicate with each other. So when they need to send certain signal to the other cell, they package their information in the form of lipids or nucleic acids or proteins. So they package it in a tiny bubble called exosome and release it. Then the receiving side cell take it into their cell and see what the message is from the other cell. So this is the natural mechanism for the cells to give and take messages. So here's the idea. What if we can engineer these exosomes to deliver certain biological products, large molecules, into the cells? So that's what we are doing. Based on this concept, we developed 3 platform technologies so far. The first one is about the loading of the protein drugs into the exosome first. We are probably the most advanced in this technology. We can load whatever size of large molecules into the cells. So that's our first platform technology. And the second technology is not only we can just load the proteins into the cell, we can also engineer the outside surface of the exosomes so that that exosome can move to the exact target sites, target organs that we want that to be. So it's a targeting capability that we have developed. So if you can combine these two technologies together, it's a beautiful tool to deliver a certain biologically active drug into the cell and the target cell exactly where you want. And our third pillar is what we call pure exo, and this is actually about the manufacturing and quality control capability, because when it comes to very new modality like ours, exosomes, it is extremely difficult to make it at a larger scale, in a very pure form, in a consistent quality. So that is the big challenge, but we mastered it, and then therefore we even gave the trade name to this. We are also developing our own pipeline utilizing our platform. Right now we are prioritizing only three. First, inflammatory disease, both the acute inflammation and chronic. And also we are focusing on oncology and CNS. There are a huge attention to exosome right now globally from both academia and industry. So a lot of big pharma, especially you can see the name here, Lilly and Takeda, and they want to participate in this space primarily by partnering with the exosome specialists instead of the big pharma playing in this space on their own. In 2020, the average size of the deal was around $800 million, which was significant. How are we, Ilias, compared versus those other exosome players? When we talk about exosome technology, we generally say there are 4 different generations, starting from first generation. It is also called naive exosome. It is naive because in that case, what they do is to grow the cell and harvest the exosomes from the cells, purify it, and then use it as it is. So that's naive exosome, that's first generation. And a lot of cell therapy companies can do this. Second generation is to engineer a little bit, but with the small molecule drugs. Small molecules can be loaded into exosome relatively easily because of their small size. The third and fourth generation is what we are really focusing on. And when you see these two pictures, the difference is here. In this technology, the large molecules can be loaded into the exosome, but it has linkers tightly linked to the inside membrane of the exosome. So that has downside eventually, because when the exosome is absorbed into the cell, the large molecule needs to be released to go to the intracellular targets. But with that tight linkage to the membrane, it has limitation to do that. So that's why our technology, fourth generation technology, has a superiority out of all currently available exosome engineering technology, because we can load large molecules in a free form. So it is not attached to any membrane, and as soon as it is absorbed into the target cell, the large molecule can be released to the cytosol, and it can move to the specific organelle in the target cell. So we have a business model based on 2 different dual focus. We call it one pipeline license out business, and the other one is platform-based license out. So pipeline license out is something very easy to understand, because most bioventure companies developing new drugs are doing this. So we want to develop our own pipeline or own products to a certain level, and at some point we want to find a partner who is willing to finish the development and commercialization. And then we will get the upfront and milestone payment from the company. And if it is successfully commercialized, we will also get some royalties. However, what we are really focusing on is this one, platform-based license out. Because like I said, our technology is really versatile. It's universally applicable to any kinds of protein drugs. What we are doing is we identify a company with very interesting biological products to load into exosome. We signed a research collaboration deal with them, and we developed a product for them, but eventually the development will be done jointly. So this is our platform-based license out. And I'm happy to say that we are making very steady progress on both ends. So when it comes to pipeline license out, earlier this year we got the regulatory approval from Australian authority to start first-in-human clinical trial. This is significant because globally we are the second in going into human clinical trial with the engineered exosome. And the first runner is still in phase 1 clinical trial, whereas we are about to start phase 1. So the time lag between the first and us is very minimal. Also, on the platform side, we already signed 2 research collaboration deals with 2 major Korean pharma companies. So one is with JW Pharmaceutical, which is top-tier Korean biopharma, and they approached us to see if we can develop anti-cancer drug for them. So we are working with JW on that project. And the second company, HK Innoan, which is also one of the top-tier Korean biopharma, they asked whether we can develop vaccine for them by utilizing our technology. So we are working on these 2 projects. Also, there are multiple big pharmas who are currently in discussion with us. I'm very proud of the team that we have assembled so far. The company was founded by Dr. Choi Choi. He is a medical doctor and he is a neurologist by training. But he had a passion for this basic science. So he turned to basic science. So he is still very active, leading all the scientific activities of the company, along with the 2 other senior scientists. So Dr. Chang, he is our CSO. He is very renowned molecular biologist, trained from Seoul National, and also from world-renowned Berkeley Lab in California. We also have Dr. Jay Yu as our Chief Research Officer. He was a senior scientist at Amgen Corporate Research Headquarters. So he's now working on translational research for us and late-stage development. So these are the R&D group. I am, as one of the co-CEO, I'm leading the business part and operations. I come from both the science and management background because I'm a pharmacist myself. So actually I started off as a research scientist doing the venture work. But I did my MBA at the Wharton School in the US, and after that I joined Eli Lilly. And I took on various leadership positions at Lilly, starting with global marketing lead in Indianapolis, its corporate headquarters. And then later I joined the Celgene, which is another global big pharma. I headed up their affiliates in Taiwan and Korea before joining Ilias in 2020. And I have 2 gentlemen who is also very experienced in leading the business side. Suno Song, he did his MBA at Duke University in the US and joined global companies like Eli Lilly and Ferrier. So he has multiple experiences in running business development and marketing, commercial operations. He's heading up all the strategy work as well as business development efforts. We also have our CFO, Hong-Suk Kim. He is a seasoned certified public accountant. He has worked for PwC doing all the financial planning and corporate development related work. And now he's heading up the company's financial efforts. Our plan is to continue our great momentum by conducting first-in-human clinical trial. So right now we are very busy manufacturing the investigational product to be used early next year for our phase 1 study. And we are also in parallel, we are preparing for the subsequent clinical trial to be conducted in the US. And then to finish all these studies by end of 2024, like I told you, we have raised so far $55 million US, and I think we need additional $10 million. I hope now you have a better understanding about exosome, why it can become a game changer potentially, if successful. And well, we are a group of people who are really passionate of bringing this new modality into the world, potentially to advance human health. And we really look forward to having good discussions with many of you in this place to team up with us. So thank you for your attention.
Let's give a big hand to the beautiful and wonderful presentation by Ilias Biologics.